Talk about a crusher. Yes! Oh!
Are you kidding me?
And gone!
Welcome back to the Schoolyard Sports podcast. I'm the host of this podcast, Lane Frank. We're now on episode 228. It's for 228 episodes through, and I got an action-packed episode planned for you. It is week 1 of the college football season, so let's get this college football party started. If you know me, I've been the #1 analyst in the country for college football. I know more about college football than anybody in the country since I was doing this show back in 2020 when I was 12, and I can't wait for this 2025-2026 football season. The NFL preseason is done, the US Open is underway, and we're nearing the end of the regular season in baseball. So get ready for an action-packed episode 228. Let's start off episode 228 how we always do with our headlines in the NFL. Anthony Richardson has been benched as the Colts starting quarterback. Deion Jones will take over. I don't know what the future holds for Anthony Richardson. Travis Kelce is engaged to Taylor Swift, the second biggest news in the NFL of the week, behind, of course, Anthony Richardson, because that takes priority. The former number 4 overall pick getting benched. But congratulations to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift on being engaged. Travis Kelce has had a great career, can have a great season. We'll see if it's his last season now that he is going to be married. But of course, Anthony Richardson takes priority over that. Next thing in the NFL, Adam Thielen is going back to the Minnesota Vikings. Love this move by the Vikings. Love this move for Adam Thielen. Moving away from the Carolina Panthers, going back to his roots in Minnesota. A guy who went to Minnesota State for college. A guy from Minnesota, and a guy who's going to be playing for the Minnesota Vikings. Kyle Hamilton is the richest safety in NFL history, and he's not even the best safety in franchise history. Now he's a great safety, Kyle Hamilton, and that's just the new day and age of money in the NFL. But we all know Ed Reed is better than Kyle Hamilton, and always will be. Joe Mixon, out for the rest of the season, potentially. Joe Mixon dealing with a little bit of the injury bug right now. If you're a fantasy manager, don't take Joe Mixon. If you're a fantasy manager, drop Joe Mixon if you have him, and pick up my favorite fantasy guy, Bill Krosky-Merritt, or Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, a 7th-round pick out of Alabama State, a guy who's going to rack up points for your fantasy team all season long. A guy who's racking up points, but not on the field, Rashee Rice, suspended 6 games after his driving incident, maybe racked up some points on his driver's license, and he'll be out the first 6 games of this season. Shiloh Sanders, also in a bit of trouble right now. This bonehead decided to punch somebody while fighting for a roster spot in the middle of a game, gets ejected, and gets cut. Deion Sanders, I don't think would ever do that. Shiloh Sanders actually did on a football field. If you think Deion would have, leave your answer in the comments. That's before my time, though. Now, in the MLB, we got my Mets rolling, everybody. 5 wins in a row, another win tonight against the Phillies, and Nolan McLean, rookie pitcher, making his 3rd career start, was dealing. 8 innings for the New York Mets. They haven't had a pitcher do that since David Peterson went 9 beginning of June. Only pitcher outside of David Peterson to, I think, go past 7 innings all season long. Nolan McLean coming up on fire. And another Mets prospect coming up on Friday, Jonah Tong, to make his debut against the Miami Marlins. When you think of this 1-2 punch of McLean and Tong, I've heard that they can be the best pitching duo in the MLB for years to come, starting maybe in 3 years. These two can be 2 of the best pitchers in the MLB. Nathan Eovaldi, one of the best pitchers in the MLB right now, is hurt and will most likely miss the rest of the season. The Cy Young hopeful, who hasn't won it in his career, is going to miss the rest of the season. It looks like tough break for Nathan Eovaldi. Another guy who can't catch a break is Anthony Volpe, because he can't catch a breaking ball and he can't catch a break on the field. 1 for his last 32. I think it might even be more now. He can't do anything on a baseball field. A huge bust, Anthony Volpe. Am I saying this because I bought way too much Anthony Volpe memorabilia back in the day? Maybe. But Anthony Volpe has been terrible this season, and this shows it, in my opinion. Kyle Bradish, the former Cy Young candidate, came back last week in his first career start, had 10 strikeouts in his first game back. Kyle Bradish looking good, coming back in his first game. Last thing in the headlines, the US Open is underway. I'll give you my predictions later, but you know who the usual suspects are. Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner, Daniil Medvedev already lost, Alexander Zverev, and then, of course, some Americans to look out for, Tommy Paul, Ben Shelton, and Francis Tiafoe. That's about for the headlines this week. Go Buffs! The Colorado Buffaloes in year 3 under Deion Sanders have zero hype around them. People like me, people like RJ Young, people like Kirk Herbstreit, people like Reese Davis, people like Josh Pate, people like anybody in the college football world don't want to talk about Colorado football this year. Why? Well, there's no buzz. There's no Heisman in Travis Hunter. There's no Heisman hopeful in Shedeur Sanders. There's no menace on the field like Shiloh Sanders. Deion Sanders might still be the head coach, and I know Deion went through some health troubles this summer. So this could either be a win situation for Colorado or a bad situation. Because maybe they're the best team they've ever been under Deion Sanders. Or maybe it's like, yeah, they were nothing without Shedeur, nothing without Travis Hunter. They named Caden Salter the quarterback today. Did you know that? Do you know what Caden Salter is? Because there's no hype around him, and there's no hype around this team. Probably think, oh, where's Juju Lewis? Well, Caden Salter is actually better than Juju Lewis, the former 5-star quarterback who's at Colorado now. Caden Salter has made a near 6 bowl game as a starting quarterback. 2024 versus Liberty versus Oregon. Caden Salter won them a conference championship against New Mexico State, and he brought them to that Fiesta Bowl against Oregon. Now they did terrible in that game, and Caden Salter decided to stay 1 extra year and then go to Colorado. But I think he can do some big things at Colorado. They've got a tough first game against Georgia Tech, and we'll see what happens there. But I'm excited to watch this football team. I know nobody else is, but don't wake up the Buffaloes, everybody, because Caden Salter is a real-time quarterback, and Deion Sanders might just have a legit team, even if there's no hype around them. Now, top 5. This week's top 5 is my top 5 Heisman hopefuls in college football. Now, nobody wants to see me bust out a low Heisman pose right now, so I'm not going to stand up and do it. Audio listeners, you didn't have to see that, and video listeners, watchers, you didn't have to either. But here are my top 5 Heisman hopefuls for this college football season. For 5, Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. The best running back in the country is coming back, led them in the college football playoff last year, got a little bit dinged up during the playoff, during that Indiana game, struggled against Penn State, struggled against Ohio State due to those injuries. But 5, Jeremiah Love. 4, Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik. Now, I don't know if Clemson's going to be this world beater this year like everybody thinks they are, but I know they're going to have to rely on number 2, and number 2 is going to deliver for the most part. 4, Cade Klubnik. 3, Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer. This guy's the full package. He's in air raid offense at Oklahoma. Yes, I said it's an air raid offense. I really do think it is an air raid offense. John Mateer has a huge arm. Showed it last year at Washington State, and also he's got the wheels to be a Heisman. 3 on my Heisman hopeful list, John Mateer. Now you're probably thinking, Lane, Jeremiah Smith, Arch Manning, down to those 2 guys. Who's it going to be? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Jeremiah Smith is number 2 in the country as the second best player in college football, and number 1, the Heisman for this year's 2025 college football season is, know the name, Lenoris Sellers, quarterback, South Carolina. Dude's a baller. He's the most athletic player in college football, and he's the best player in college football. Shane Beamer thinks it. The SEC knows it, and he's ready to prove it. South Carolina quarterback Lenoris Sellers. This isn't me saying South Carolina's going to win 10 games. You can win 9 games. You can win 8 games as a starting quarterback and still be the Heisman. Look, Lamar Jackson 2016. Lenoris Sellers will be the Heisman this year. Bookmark it. That's about for top 5. Now this take could come back to haunt me, but I want to make bold takes today with college football starting, and Lenoris Sellers does that for me with being my Heisman pick for this football season. Stay tuned. Now, did you know? This week's Did You Know is, did you know the football huddle was created at Gallaudet University School for the Deaf because they didn't want their opponents reading their sign language. So the thing that starts every football play, the huddle, was created at Gallaudet University School for the Deaf. Did you know that? Leave that in the comments. That's about for Did You Know this week. It's time for me to throw you some Schoolyard Superlatives for this college football season. I'm talking, who's the class clown? Who's the teacher coach of the year? Who's going to be the new kid in the schoolyard this year in college football? Let's hop into it. We'll start off with who's the class clown of college football, the biggest underperformer. Drew Aller is the class clown because I'm going to be laughing at him and everybody else is going to be laughing at him when everybody's just saying, this guy came back. This guy came back for his 4th year. This guy's still not a championship-winning quarterback, and he came back for another year instead of boosting his draft stock. Class clown, Penn State quarterback Drew Aller. Comeback player of the year. Now, I might be biased, but he's a friend of the show, and I'm part of the reason why he's at this school. Comeback player of the year, Malachi Nelson. Got named the UTEP starting quarterback this week. Former number 1 recruit. Went to USC, didn't play. Went to Boise, didn't play. It's a perfect story for him to play at UTEP and win a bunch of games in El Paso. Comeback player of the year, Malachi Nelson. Now, who's going to be the new kid on the block? The new kid in the schoolyard this year in college football? It's got to be Bryce Underwood from Michigan. Bryce Underwood is a freshman like no other. He's an alien as a freshman, and he's going to do great things as the new kid in the schoolyard. Who's going to be the sleeping giant in college football this year? A team, they don't want to wake him up because nobody wants to play them. Duke. Duke football. Manny Diaz is going to have a great defense like he always does, like he did last year when this Duke team won a bunch of games, 9 games, won 9-4 last year. Duke football. Now you've got a great quarterback, Darian Mensah. You've got some good running backs, Jaquez Moore, Peyton Jones, a good receiving core. Duke football is a sleeping giant in the ACC and all of college football. Now, the roller coaster award. Which team is going to take you on the biggest ups and the biggest downs throughout the season? I think it's the Florida Gators. Because I think for Florida, it's going to be like, oh, we beat Miami, now we're going to go and beat Texas. It's like, oh, we got killed by Texas. Well, what's going to happen when we play LSU? Oh, we beat LSU. Now we're going to beat Georgia. What's going to happen against Ole Miss? What if we play Alabama? Yada, yada, yada. Texas A&M. It's a tough schedule. They're not going to win all these games. They're not going to lose all of these games. They're going to take you on a roller coaster. Some Sunbelt Billy football from Florida football. And DJ Lagway is going to have a good season, but I don't think they're going to beat Texas. Now, I could see them beating LSU. I could see them beating Miami, but then you might lose to an A&M. You might lose to a Mississippi State. You might lose to some teams in this gauntlet of a schedule. If a team had to lose 3 games to make the playoff, it'd be the Florida Gators, in my opinion. Now, the last superlative I've got for you, who's the teacher/coach of the year. Now, when we think of coach of the year, it's not the best team. It's just the team that really overperforms what we think they'll do. And I've got that being Iowa State. They just won a big game against Kansas State in Dublin. Matt Campbell is going to be coach of the year in college football because Matt Campbell was great in 2020. And Iowa State hasn't been on the brink of doing something that special in a long time of making something like the college football playoff. But like this year, they're going to run the table. They're going to win the Big 12. They might even go undefeated this whole entire season because their schedule is pretty weak in my opinion. And Matt Campbell is going to be head coach of the year when it's all said and done. That's about it for my schoolyard superlatives. Now, the U.S. Open, the final Grand Slam of the year, is here. It's time for me to break down the top 5 candidates to win this tournament. Let's hop into it. For 5, Frances Tiafoe. This is his tournament. His past 3 results in this tournament have been semifinal, quarterfinal, semifinal. He's that close to getting over the hump. Almost did it last year in a 5th set against Taylor Fritz. Almost did it 2 years ago in a 5th set against Carlos Alcaraz in the semifinal. Didn't win either of them. Ben Shelton in quarterfinals 2023, tough match for him, but he's getting closer and closer to winning this Grand Slam. Now, I don't think Frances Tiafoe is a Grand Slam champion type of player, but when he plays in the U.S. Open, he is the most loved player in all of tennis, Frances Tiafoe at the U.S. Open. It is a huge match for him, and that's why he's still contending to win this tournament. He is number 5. Number 4 is the number 4 player in the world, Taylor Fritz. He's solid. Some people can't beat Taylor Fritz. The only person who can beat Taylor Fritz is himself, Carlos Alcaraz, and Jannik Sinner. If anybody else beats him, it's because he beat himself that day. Taylor Fritz, number 4, a key player to win this tournament as an American. Number 3, my favorite player, Ben Shelton. This is his tournament too. His past 2 results have been semifinal and then a round of 32 loss last year, but still a very good result. Rest of the tournaments this year, made quarterfinals at Wimbledon, did pretty well in the French Open. He's been having a great season. He made the semifinals at the Australian Open, where he lost to Jannik Sinner. Some people might say only 2 players he can lose to right now are Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, which is exactly why those 2 guys are right above him. Who's going to win this tournament? Because this is the 3rd straight Grand Slam where I've said it's going to be between these 2 guys, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. I got it right with French Open. saying Alcaraz. I got it wrong in Wimbledon, saying Alcaraz. Now we're here. 2025 U.S. Open. Defending champion Jannik Sinner going up against 2022 champion Carlos Alcaraz. Sinner played him last week and had to retire very early due to an injury, due to a health issue in Cincinnati. Okay, I think Sinner did that on purpose. Here's why. He did it in Rome, played Alcaraz in Rome right before the French Open, and Alcaraz killed him, gave Alcaraz a ton of confidence. It's like, okay, for Sinner, Alcaraz playing too well. He's better than me right now. He's going to win Rome. He'll probably win the French Open. I think Sinner thought, all right, Alcaraz playing pretty well in the Cincinnati Open. Let me back out. Let me not waste all my energy. Let me not show him all my cards and save it for the big one, the U.S. Open. Which is why I think Jannik Sinner is the best player in the world right now in hard court, and he's going to win this tournament. Carlos Alcaraz can do whatever stuff he wants on clay. This is hard court, and Jannik Sinner owns hard court right now, winning the past 2 hard court Grand Slams, and he's going to win the 3rd right here. Jannik Sinner, Grand Slam champion one more time against Carlos Alcaraz at the U.S. Open. Sinner wins the U.S. Open. Oh, I can feel it. I can hear Sweet Home Alabama. I can hear everything for college football right now. I associate that song with college football. I can see myself waking up at 6 a.m. for no good reason on a college game day morning where Lee Corso will be hosting for the last time Texas versus Ohio State, where I can see, which team's going to get upset this week. I'm going to be doing that until November 30th and on, everybody, in this college ball season, because I love college football. I've been doing this since I was 12 years old in 7th grade. I'm 17 and a senior in high school now, and I can't wait for this college ball season. This is how we do College Ball Showcase. I give you my top 25 teams, and then I give you my 6 hot takes for the week. You're going to have to check out some more of that on the Instagram on Saturday mornings at Schoolyard Sports. But nonetheless, let's get into this top 25 for the college ball season. Number 1, Texas. 2, LSU. 3, Ohio State. 4, Clemson. 5, Penn State. 6, Oregon. 7, Georgia. 8, Notre Dame. 9, Alabama. 10, South Carolina. Go Gamecocks. 11, Florida. 12, Michigan. Go Blue. 13, Miami. 14, Arizona State. 15, Oklahoma. 16, SMU. 17, Illinois. 18, Texas A&M. 19, Ole Miss. 20, Tennessee. 21, Duke. 22, Texas Tech. 23, Iowa State. 24, Georgia Tech. 25, Tulane. Just a quick run through for it. I'm not going to say who a national champion is, but Texas certainly is the top contender for it right now. Texas, number 1 in the country. 2, LSU. Great team all around. Ohio State, number 3, also a good team. Clemson as well. Penn State, skip around a little bit. Oregon at 6, Dante Morris starting quarterback now. Alabama at number 9, year 2 under Kalen DeBoer. They're just going to get better and better. 10, South Carolina. I talked about Lenora Sellers. 12, Michigan, Bryce Underwood era. 13, Miami, Carson Beck. How's he going to do at Miami? Arizona State, Sam Leavitt, Jordan Tyson coming back. Kenny Dillingham in year 3 there. 18, Texas A&M. A lot of uncertainties around this team, especially quarterback Marcel Reed, but I think they can have a great season still. 19, Ole Miss. Austin Simmons will be their quarterback. That's showing something right there from Lane Kiffin. 21, Duke. Great defense. 20, Tennessee. Even with Joey Aguilar at quarterback and a new look team. 22, Texas Tech. Joey McGuire is building a sleeping giant there. 23, Iowa State. Talked about them. 24, Georgia Tech. Brent Key is doing a great job with this squad, taking over from Jeff Collins a few years ago, won that job as the interim, and Haynes King back for another year of college football. At 25, John Sumrall and Tulane. This is going to be a great college ball season. That's just the first edition of the top 25. Now, my 6 hot takes coming up next. Stay tuned. Now, the hot takes, everybody. Woo, woo. Flaming hot takes right here. 6, like how we always do. First one, Syracuse versus Tennessee. I love me some Fran Brown. And I think Josh Heupel and Tennessee are a little arrogant this offseason for letting Nico just walk out on them. Whether it was Nico, whether it was Tennessee, their fault for having him in the first place. Let's go Syracuse, the better orange squad here. Steve Angeli torches the Volunteers defense. Go Syracuse in the Affleck kickoff over Tennessee, big upset, unranked over top 25. Now, Alabama is going down to Tallahassee to take on Florida State. Spread is 13.5. I'm no betting man, if you even consider me a man at 17 years old, but I think Florida State keeps this game close against Alabama. Bama pulls away late. It's going to be a great game, but Bama pulls away late against Florida State. Now, Bill Belichick in his career opener of college football against TCU at home. North Carolina named Gio Lopez a quarterback this week. Who? Yeah, quarterback transfer that nobody knew about up until the transfer in North Carolina. I don't think Gio Lopez is going to be a good starter in the ACC. I think Josh Hoover is one of the best quarterbacks in the country for TCU. So Sonny Dykes, a guy who has experience coaching in college football, unlike Bill Belichick, who's an NFL specialist, Sonny Dykes, the college football specialist and the quarterback whisperer, kills Bill Belichick at home on Monday night in college football. Notre Dame versus Miami, the Sunday classic right here. Catholics versus convicts. Please don't cancel me for that. Notre Dame over Miami. I think Carson Beck struggles. I think CJ Carter's first career start rolls. I think they rely a little bit on Jeremiah Love. I think the offensive line, a little new look offensive line, but the national championship runner-ups get a close win over Miami in week 1. Now, the best game of the week. The last game the Lee Corso will ever be hosting College Game Day for. A noon kickoff. Texas versus Ohio State. Archer Manning's first real start. I don't care about his few starts against UTSA and Mississippi State last year. You're playing the shoot. You're playing against a top 3 team. You're playing against the national champions, for crying out loud. Julian Sayin is making his first career start too. It's against the number 1 team in the country. Fun fact, this is the first time a quarterback has made his first career start against the number 1 team in the country. And it's also the first time the number 1 team in the country has opened the season as an underdog in Vegas' eyes. It's going to be a great game. But I think at the end of the day, Ohio State is going to have to rely too much on Julian Sayin. Texas takes the game out of Archer Manning's hands. They run the ball. I think there's so many great defenders. When you look at Colin Simmons, when you look at Anthony Hill Jr., when you look at the Malik Muhammad, the way his defense is spread out, the way his offense is spread out, it's going to be easy money for Archer Manning. I don't think he throws for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think he throws for about 220 and a touchdown or 2, and they get the job done. Texas! Hook 'em over Ohio State in week 1. That's Power for the Hot Takes this week. Now, question of the day. This week's question of the day is, who will be the first NFL quarterback benched this year? Easy pick for me, Spencer Rattler. Who's your pick on the first NFL quarterback to be benched this season? That's Power for Schoolyard Sports, the Land Frank, episode 228. Thank you for tuning in. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Instagram at Schoolyard Sports. Follow Schoolyard Sports on X at Schoolyard Sport. Follow Schoolyard Sports on TikTok at Schoolyard Sports. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review for the best sports content in the world. Be back here next week, episode 229. Stay tuned.